It's interesting because, like, as I was learning about this whole topic, like, I saw all of us, and it's why I like suddenly knew that was the conversation that should be had today. Because, like, there are aspects of that all of us have lived. There are aspects of it that we haven't lived. Like I said, I see a lot of things in that where I realized that Ashton kind of did a lot of it subconsciously without even, intending to do it. It just kind of, it's how he worked, and it went that way. And I realized that, like, we can all learn from this. The four of us, the listeners, and be our best selves.
Oh, for sure. For sure. Like, I wholeheartely agree.
Same.
Like, those are things that I don't take my brain to on my own. Like, that's part of my problem, right? Like, I don't have that thought to initially get me to that thought. You know what I mean?
I honestly think emotionally this deep every day. Like, I try to, and if it's not me thinking that deep that day, it's because I'm that emotional that day and I'm having a bad day. Like, Jessica can be, my runner-up of how fucking psycho I can be on some days, and it's not fun, but, like,
no, but dude, that's all part of it. Like, dude, there's basically, like, I'm fucking psycho, but, like, I just don't, it doesn't show. Like, they're not things that
I think
to me are like reads. Like, I wouldn't snap at someone, or I wouldn't, like, be snarky or any of that shit. Like, that's just not me. But, like, that doesn't mean that I'm not going through a fucking day.
Right.
You know what I mean?
But
Right.
see but that's the thing, right? Is that, like, you're able to process, right? And the idea is we as people should learn to stop internalizing it, right? Because that's what we do as human beings, and especially as men. We internalize. We take it,
Just shut everything out. You
shut it down, we push it down, and it gets locked away, and we move on to the next thing.
Well, that's the construct of life, and, like, a blue collar, like, as a man in general, like, men in general are bred and put into life to do blue collar jobs. Like, we're intended to go into the mines, we're intended to fucking drill, we're intended to landscape, we're intended to paint, all this shit. And in return, you have bosses and higher powers that have bigger dicks than others. And, like, James probably deals with that a lot, being in the union. Like, you deal with a lot of fucking dick swinging assholes that think they have their opinion fucking matters over yours, and it beats you down. And then you also, in return, you're, as a man, and if you had a dad around, you weren't allowed to cry when you were a boy. You're a boy. You're not you don't cry.
Yeah.
Like,
only girls cry.
And only girls cry. Like, and we're stuck to this construct that we're supposed to be, like, superheroes, and we're supposed to be invincible, and we're not allowed to break. But at the end of the day, I find, myself being far more emotional than Jessica is, and she's a woman. You know what I mean? Like, I don't have to deal with the things she has to deal with menstrually every month. Like, I don't have to deal with putting on my fucking eyeliner straight every day and making sure my hair's pretty. Like, I put on fucking socks, shoes, and a shirt, and I'm out the door. But I'm still, at the end of the day, I try to be, like, I don't try to be emotional, but that's just, like, me giving it.
This is the thing, though, is that you have masculine energy and feminine energy. That is the yin. That is the yin and yang, right? And as we see in the symbol, there's always going to be an element of the opposite force within the dominant force, and together they work in unison. And so there are men who are predominantly female energies. You're going to be one of them. That's natural. And the reason for that, female energy is creative energy. It is an emotional energy. It doesn't look at things in straight lines and numbers. It looks at things in emotion and curve. Whereas male energy is rigid. It looks at straight lines, data, facts, details.
Right.
And oftentimes, that's why you find creative people to be more emotional people, because they live in that female feminine energy more than their masculine energy. That's great. That's their, that's the white, let's say, in the yin and yang, with their little dot of masculine energy in there. They're balanced when they have that masculine energy with that little bit of feminine dominating. It's the same in my household. I'm the female energy in this house.
Mm-hmm.
I'm the artist, I'm the creative one, and I'm the one with the wild fucking inability to control my emotions at times.
Mm-hmm.
What's interesting...
What month were you born in?
January.
Weird.
I'm a Capricorn.
That's weird. It's so weird because I get like the same energies like that I give off, like I feel like you give off. Like we're a lot alike and we're totally different. Like I'm a Virgo and you're a Capricorn. So it's like we're born in totally different areas.
But at the same time, you have to keep in mind that I'm a Capricorn born in 87.
Right.
So the stars were aligned differently in 87 when I was a Capricorn.
You're a lot like my brother.
And on top of that, I'm January 17th, which makes me, I think, 3 or 4 days from an Aquarius, which makes me, depending on your school of teaching and thought, a cusp. Some don't consider me a cusp, some do. So I also have Aquarian attributes. So yeah, there's all of these things. And what I'm finding is that as we dissolve that ego, and ego in psychology being defined as that sense of self, what does it get replaced with? A sense of oneness. Because once you remove the I am, what's left is. I no longer am. It just is. I am he, she is we. We are one. All of this energy is interconnected, and we can literally affect each other. And so it's learning to not let those things affect us, right? Like we were taught, like we mentioned during the show, not coming from, that supportive family. That is a stumbling block I struggle with routinely. My father is an absolute fuckbag. And then on top of that, I have the fear of loss. Because every person I've ever loved in my life, I've lost. Every fucking person I've ever genuinely, truly, emotionally loved and had that kind of a connection with is dead. They're all gone. They've all been taken from me. The last one is my wife now. I have to learn to let go of that part of my ego.
There's something to be said about that, though, of where you learn to overcome that, and how you learn to overcome that, and what things do you figure out to overcome that. Like, that's something within it said to be said. Like, I've watched my mom go through a lot of shit in life, and then once all of her children have grown up and gone out of the house, I've kind of watched my mom go downhill in a sense, with how certain things have happened in her life that have affected her in her later age. And it's kind of crazy to think of those things affecting her now instead of when she was younger. And, it's just kind of crazy.
But it's that question of what is it that's holding you back, right? And so when you dissolve that ego for a minute and you look at yourself from an outside perspective and you see these things, you go, shit, I need to learn to let go of that. That's baggage I'm holding on to that's fucking me up.
Mm-hmm.
And once you've learned to identify it, now you can figure out how to fix it. Because obviously you don't know what you don't know until you find out that you didn't know it. And so once you see the truth of it all, and you look in the mirror and you see the ugly truth for a second and you go, oh fuck, there it is, and you're honest about it, you can fix it. And it's one of those things, these are flaws of mine that I intend to fix, that I desire to fix, and that are baggages that are holding me back. Why have I continued to experience these problems? Because I haven't learned the fucking lesson yet. You know what I mean? It's like it's like going to school, right? Why didn't you fucking get past that one chapter? Because you kept failing the fucking test. You hadn't learned it yet. So you got to keep going back till you figure it out. And it's like, fuck, okay, I haven't figured this lesson out. I have to learn this lesson now.
That's what like the last 2 years of my life have been, is like, fuck, I wish I'd known now what I knew, what I didn't know last year this time.
Well, yeah, hindsight's always 20/20, right?
Crazy. Well, like to even feel those feelings though, to like, you know, to come a year and be like, wow, I learned that much in a year. And that's how, like, you know, the last 3-4 years of my life have been. Like, you can go back through my Instagram and see the upscale of, you know, everything that I've dreamed of being put on paper. And like, to go back and look at it, it's like, holy shit. And then sometimes now I have to go back and look at what I did a year or 2 years ago now and be like, oh, that's what I did.
And it's, you know, it's funny because, like I said, I feel like you took a lot of those steps subconsciously without even realizing it. You just kind of naturally did them and manifested this reality. And
I think a lot of it has to do with, you know, I live in a state, in an area, in a town that, you know, it's not so fucking city-like. It's not so fucking fast-paced. Like,
Ashton, I honestly kind of feel that, like, even if you didn't give a fuck about powder coating at all and there was some other avenue, that you'd be at the same spot you're at right now.
Exactly.
It doesn't matter if it's powder coating. It could have been anything. It's like that mindset that you had, and that's why you're here. It's not because
you
of
naturally had that mindset. It was like I said to you in that text message. You think I'm fucking joking when I said you're the best goddamn powder coater in the country? You did something that 90% of your peers would have thought was completely stupid and impossible to do. You looked at those fucking tubes and went, oh, I'm gonna make these engravings sick as fuck. Watch me, motherfucker. And you did it. And now you got people in your field looking at you like you're a god, all because you dared to fucking dream. Because you had a vision in your head that it could be done, you saw how to do it, and you worked your ass to that inevitable goal that now it is you. It is your life. You manifested it because you saw it. And yeah, it may have taken you 10 years, you know, sitting in powder coating booths, hating life, but constantly focusing on that vision of what you want to do. But you did it. You manifested that. And that's the thing, and it's like, that's why now I'm at that point where it's like, okay, so ask yourself, what is it that I love that no matter what, I can't possibly not do?
Yeah, live without.
You know what I mean? Like, I know I can't walk away from this whole audio stuff and video stuff, and I can't walk away from my camera.
I was going to say this episode would be so fucking legit live. This episode would have been a live episode to be fucking, if it was one, it would have been this one.
So like that's the thing. It's like I've now zeroed in. These are those things. So now I know. All right. If I want to make a fucking a flow chart or something for myself so I can visualize it, I got 2 things I can stick up there right now. Photo, video, so my camera world, and the podcast. Now, the first thing I get to do is recognize that they're fucking interconnected. Mm-hmm. So that's fucking fantastic because I'm literally living in 2 of my truths right here, right now, because I'm doing all of these things I love
with one
at once. Now, I recognize something else. I also have a part of me that's a healer. I want to help people. I want to give people the opportunity and the tools to change. Okay, now I have this healer aspect I can put on this chart. Well, shit. What vehicle do I have to allow myself the ability to be that healer, that piece of me that is part of my highest self? Well, fuck, I have this audio-visual platform called the Shedtime Podcast. Now, I see the vision, right? Now I can actually do all of these things. We can talk about all of this shit, and I'm living my highest truth.
Mm-hmm.
in the podcast. I'm doing all of the things I love right here. I'm helping.
It's just going to explode more and more and more and more. And it'll get to the point. It's going to get to the point to where you're going to be like, fuck. Now I understand. Be careful what you dream or what you wish.
Right. And that's the thing, right? Because again, here's my collective, right? So now Ashton's got this passion for his powder coating and the art that he has behind it. And look what's happened. He's powder coated this mod that's part of the giveaway. That has created even more interest in what we do.
Well, wait till you get to take pictures of this thing. This will be the first mod besides what goes out manufactured wise or whatever touches Danny's hands that will actually be on the scale of photography powder, like shot. So this is going to be like, I can't wait, like black mirror, black everything behind it, but just this thing. And it's like fucking reflecting off of all the mirrors.
And that's the thing, like, as we all find what we're passionate about and focus our energies into it, all they do is collectively make everybody else's goals and visions bigger, better realities, right? Grow. Fucking Uncle Chris wants this e-liquid company. This can grow. Next thing you know, your e-liquid's part of that giveaway. You know what I mean? Like,
oh yeah, dude, I've thought about that before.
Like all of these things happen. You know what I mean? And it's like, this is kind of why, like, that piece of me knew we had to have this episode for James, because I feel it. You don't fully know exactly what you love and what you want and what direction you want to go right now.
I feel it big time because I think about it daily with him, and then also my brother-in-law. My brother-in-law just graduated high school, and like girlfriend that he had did some shady shit and left, and you know, and that's like, for me, it's like I wear my heart on my sleeve, and it's like I fucking hurt so bad for my two best friends that are like my two closest homies besides my brother, that's blood. And it's like I have everything going for me, but I'm so close that it's like I can't just like, come on, let's go. Come on. Because it's like, it's other things within themselves that they have to, you know.
So what's really cool,
I can't fix, that's what eats me up.
What's really cool thing is that, again, we are all energy. Everything is energy. The earth is energy. We come from the earth.
Mm-hmm.
And when you think about electricity, it needs a ground. Right? It needs a ground to be able to move that energy properly. And if you yourself are a transmitter, if you yourself are both receiving and transmitting energy, when was the last time you had a ground? When was the last time you put your bare feet in the soil, on the grass, in the dirt on the beach?
Every weekend at the cabin.
And actually grounded yourself and let those negative ions that have built up in your body escape back into the earth.
See, I kind of always wondered why, like, I kind of had like this feeling like why I was so addicted to powder coating, and like there's like this aspect of like it's instant gratification. You sandblast it, it looks brand new. You coat it, it looks brand new. It's done, it's brand new, it's fucking sick. It's done. It's instant gratification. But there's also this aspect of when I'm coating a mod, I'm grounding the mod. And I'm running this electricity and this energy through my body. And it's like I seen this like study on this lady's son or daughter or something. He had like really bad allergies and shit, and so did my kid. And kind of come to find out, she was like, I kind of healed a lot of his allergies per se through grounding. You know, like I went and I would go outside and I would like stand in the yard, or we would sit on like somewhere in the grass, and I would hold him, and I would like, he would be like shirtless, and I would hold him, and he would, you know, she would ground him. And like she would consistently ground. And then I kind of like thought about it, like I'm grounding myself consistently throughout a day to paint shit. And then it was kind of like, oh wow, like I'm consistently grounding myself every day, all day.
But so here's the thing though, you are, but you're not, because what are you?
I'm being a neutral.
You're wearing shoes, so you're insulated. So
if I wasn't grounded, though, I would be getting shocked.
But this is the thing. You're acting as the ground because you are Earth. So now, if you were to then connect yourself to the Earth, you would no longer act as the ground. You would be the conduit which it gets to ground. What you actually are doing is taking those ions into your body when you act as the ground. And when you go to the cabin and you put your feet in the river and you run around barefoot, you release those negative ions back into Earth, which allows your body.
It feels so weird when I go up there because like my fucking arms and shit will go numb, dude. Like it's the weirdest feeling. Every time I'm driving up the river road, I like take my Apple Watch off, my phone's off, it's in the dash, and I'm just driving and I'm listening to a CD in my CD deck.
Yeah, you're escaping all the electromagnetic fields, and you're literally regrounding. And it's crazy what that does, because by grounding, you're realigning your energy. So now your energy is realigned. Then you start putting all of these principles in your mind of, envisioning imagination, your imagination, putting this thought and this pride and this love into your work. And what's happening? You continue to create more abundance, more wealth, more work, more good, all because you continuously keep your energy flowing naturally in and out of the cosmos. As above, so below. As we continue to focus ourselves and bring our energy out, so too do we attract that energy back to ourselves. And it's crazy. Like, you think about how when you're in a good mood, all the fucking downer friends that you got just don't hang out with you anymore.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
Dude, I realized that big time when I got the Bogan job. Like, when I got the Bogan job, it was like this big thing. I was like, yes, I'm going to bring like the community back together. Like, they're going to be hyped again. Like, this fucking area is going to blow up again. Nobody wanted to come and hang out. None of my fucking big vape friends within the industry around here never came and hung out. And I was like, wow, this kind of sucks. I have to paint all these mods by myself.
But that's the thing. They were all lower vibrational people. And when you're vibrating at a higher level because you're so positive, there's no room for those negative people anymore. They start to fade away.
I looked at it.
They can't be around you. You make them physically ill. You know what I mean?
Well, if people are pissing on your fire and it's going out and not getting bigger, get them the fuck away from your fire, dude.
Right. That's it. Gets back to that collective, that mental collective. You surround yourself with those people who build you up and inspire you and push you and keep you up and keep you positive.
And all I did during that time was just fucking blare Pennywise and fucking NoFX and all of the Bogan's favorites during that time to like get me in that like energy of like how he is as a person.
And in that vein, rather than the sex transmutation concept, you used rage.
Yep.
You used that, fuck you, I'm gonna show them all that I'm fucking better than anyone thinks I am.
Load up the Dynavap, go outside, sit directly in the sun on your ass in the yard, and close your eyes for as long as you can. Just for
I'm not gonna be able to do that with the dog, bro.
I'll fall asleep and then he'll wake me up by like fucking
but
my leg,
so like,
by like fucking pouncing on me or some
give
shit.
yourself like 5 or 10 minutes, and like regardless if there's noise around, just like take on the noise, deal with the noise. But the craziest thing, because it's bright out and you don't have sunglasses on, keep your eyes closed, and then you open your eyes after keeping them closed because you've tried to meditate. It is the weirdest experience, especially if you smoked, because like all the light that comes into your eyes after they've been shut, but you're also still taking in light through your lids. Trust me, just go do it.
Just and remember what I told you. You are light. Take on the heat. Take on the like. Deal with the heat. You actually are that light that you're absorbing. You are you are the physical embodiment of light right now. When you close your eyes and that whole feeling of white light that you're feeling starts to envelop you, you begin to realize that is you. And if light can come all the way from the goddamn sun to here to do what it's doing to you right now, you're fucking limitless, bro. You can literally do anything you fucking want if you genuinely, in your heart, want to achieve it. So why wouldn't you just go do it, right? Go do it.
Hell fucking yeah.
right?
Oh,
It's so
John.
cool. Yeah, like it's life changing when you start to live in it. It's crazy.